unique distinction. This was done with $9 billion of investment. Now, what are the challenges that one faces when conceiving such a project? I was a minister who was looking after rural water supply when this project was envisioned by our Honorable Chief Minister. In fact, I should share this with you. He had done the same project in his constituency back in 1998. As an MLA, as a minister from Siddipet, Shri K. Chandrasekhar Rao ji has completed the same project in 98 in his own constituency with 108 crores of rupees. So the same thing was to be replicated at a state level. That was his vision. So initially we said, okay, what are the best examples in the country as to who's done what when it comes to drinking water? We received a letter from Prime Minister Modi saying, we please study the Gujarat model and how they've done drinking water supply, to even the most parched areas such as Kutch, etc. So I myself have led a delegation of officers and a few legislators also to study what has been done in Gujarat. When we reached there, we met with the officers, we met with the bureaucrats, we met with the ministers, and we met with the other people who were involved in the project. They said, it took us about 8 years under the then Chief Minister Narendra Modi ji's leadership to cover about 70% of our state. So when we told them that our objective is to cover the entire state in 3 or 4 years, they laughed at us. They said, Modi ji kar nahi paye, 7-8 saal mein, aap kya karoge, kaise karoge? There were those sarcastic smirks, kya karoge, kaise karoge, kaise mumkin hai, etc., etc. But today, within a matter of 3.5 years, with the initial outlay was about $9 billion, which roughly translates to about, I think, about 60 now, but back then it was, I think, and you know the rupee valuation, etc. About 45 back then. So when we started off, the project looked humongous, honestly. Even our engineer-in-chief, a gentleman called Surendra Reddy, he was my engineer-in-chief back then. When an Honorable CM called us for a meeting and told us, this is something that you have to deliver in 3 years, he almost fell off his chair. He said, sir, we've never done a project which is more than 400 crores. So how do you expect us to do a 45,000 crore project in 3 years? How do we do it? Our Honorable CM said, visit Siddipet, what we've done there, visit Gujarat, and visit whatever you want, whichever country you want to go visit, please go there and visit it. But the fact is this is doable. There is financial support from the government. Please make it happen. As part of this large project, we were supposed to lay a pipeline of nearly 140,000 kilometers. Now 140,000 kilometers, for those of you who are unaware, I think it is 2.5 or 3 times the circumference of Earth. That's how big the pipeline is. That's how humongous the effort is. When we were conceptualizing this project, I was not only Minister of Panchayati Raj, but I was also the Minister of Information Technology. So we were talking on how to, it's a challenge, obviously. It's a challenge, and we wanted to do a little bit more than, what Gujarat has done or what any other state has done in the country. So we were also discussing on what else to do, what else to dovetail into the same trench. One of the things we decided is, since we are trenching the entire landscape of Telangana anyway for 140,000 kilometers, we said, why don't we also lay a fiber optic cable? Because this tap water is going to go to every house, and this pipeline is going to go to every house. So we might as well, save cost and dovetail and, piggyback on this project and also put in fiber optic cable. Today, again, I'm happy to share with you Telangana Fiber Grid, the project which was dovetailed and which was piggybacking on the Telangana Mission Bhagirath, the drinking water project. Today is almost nearing completion. And once it is done, Telangana will again be one of those rare states, few states, which would be offering 100 Mbps broadband connection to each and every home. And the possibilities, you guys know better than me, of e-health, e-commerce, e-education, and how much of a drastic change it can bring about in rural hinterland is something that you can only imagine. You're only limited by your imagination. So when it comes to policy making, when it comes to taking up humongous tasks, our Honorable Chief Minister is a man who does not shy away from a challenge. He also took it upon himself as a challenge. Telangana, like I told you, one of the taglines of the Telangana statehood agitation was, I'll say that in Telugu, Neelu, Nidhulu, Niyamakalu. What that means is water, Nidhulu is funds, money, and Niyamakalu is employment. So water was one of the significant issues as part of the overall Telangana statehood agitation. And our Honorable Chief Minister, having conceptualized a program on drinking water, also wanted to do something equally humongous on irrigation. When we assumed office, farmer suicides were at their highest, possibly one of the highest in the country after Maharashtra. And then the irrigation potential in Telangana was never tapped, because the logic that was always served to us was that the water level of the two rivers here, Krishna and Godavari, is, if you look at the water and the ground, or the, if you look at the topography of Telangana, the hinterland of Telangana is above, the sea level, much above the sea level. So therefore, it was always, the logic that was served to us was that unless you invest significant amounts in lift irrigation projects, in both power generation and also in building up in capital expenditure, you'll not be able to complete these projects. Our Honorable Chief Minister today, happy to share with you, has not only conceptualized, but has completed, I don't know how many of you know this, the world's largest multi-stage lift irrigation project, called as Kaleshwaram project. You can look it up in Google, YouTube, in a matter of 3.5 years. And this is a project which has brought under cultivation, brought under irrigation, more than 45 lakh acres of arable land. This has drastically changed the fortunes of Telangana. While we are, of course, working on other projects like Palamuru Rangareddy lift irrigation, we are working on Sitarama, we've also not ignored the minor irrigation resources. I went to the US in 2015, again, as a minister. I went to a state called Minnesota. I met the governor there, I met lots of people there, and they always take a lot of pride, calling Minnesota a land of 10,000 lakes. Now, I told them Telangana has more than 46,000 tanks. They were surprised. They said, really? You have 46,000 tanks? We are, in fact, a lot of times, terminology and taxonomy sometimes also is off-putting in a lot of ways for policymakers and in terms of prioritization. When you say minor irrigation, it automatically in your mind becomes a minor source of irrigation. But that's not the case. Under tank irrigation in Telangana, there was a time when there were more than 15 to 20 lakh acres of cultivation. But unfortunately, because of meager allocations with that terminology minor coming into play, governments, one after another, have ignored this specific sector. Allocations were meager, so there was not much that they could do. As a result, irrigation suffered and agriculture suffered. But under our government, we took up another challenging program called as Mission Kakatiya, to revive, to strengthen, to ensure that each of the irrigation potential of these minor irrigation tanks is brought back to its full capacity. Happy to share again, out of these 46,000, we've already completed nearly 22,000 tanks, fully strengthened them, revived them, rejuvenated them, under which again, a lot of irrigation potential again has been resurrected. Now, because of all these, today Food Corporation of India, not me saying it, but Food Corporation of India, Ministry of Agriculture, Government of India, has recognized Telangana as the topmost paddy producing state in the country. From a parched region, in a matter of 7 years today, Telangana has become the topmost paddy producing state in the country, which is by no means a small feat. Because this was a region, I come from a constituency called Sirsila, which was drought prone, which was full of distressed farmers, etc. To have achieved this kind of growth in a very short span is nothing short of astounding. How did our Honorable CM do it? Did he just focus on irrigation? No. He came out with pioneering and path-breaking programs. Farm input assistance. This has never been done by any state or any government in the world, except Telangana. When our Honorable Chief Minister on the 10th of May, 2018, launched a program called Raitu Bandhu, which is farm input assistance. A lot of people scoffed at it. They said, is it doable? Can he do it? Today, we offer farm input assistance for 2 seasons, both Rabi and Kharif, of 5,000 rupees per acre. And it is now running into almost 15,000 crores per annum. It's a DBT, direct benefit transfer to the farmer's account. 62 lakh farmers are benefited every year. As a result, not only has the agricultural production, yield, productivity of farmers in Telangana has increased, but also the suicides of farmers have come down drastically. Telangana again has that unique distinction of being able to reduce the farmers' suicides, and not me saying it. Government of India, on the floor of the House in Parliament, has said it in the recently held Parliament sessions, that Telangana is the #1 state when it comes to reducing farmer suicides in the country. So these are, I can go on and on. There are many things that we've done in the last 7 years. In clean energy, in renewable energy, we are number 2 in the country. Today, we are second only to Karnataka. But if you look at land mass and pro rata, I think we are number 1 in the country. Because Karnataka is a much, much bigger state than us. So we are number 1 on that. And one program I think that many of you will like. Our Honorable Chief Minister is a passionate environmentalist. He's not only a passionate farmer, he's a passionate environmentalist. When we assumed office, the forest cover in Telangana was 23%. Today, after 7 years, again, not me saying it, Government of India saying it, and Forest Research Institute of Government of India saying it, it has increased the forest cover in Telangana from 23 to 28%. So 5% increase in forest cover because of a program called as Harita Haram. Now this Harita Haram is a unique program. It's the 3rd largest effort in human history, for those of you who don't know. Planting 230 crore saplings over a period of 7 years is something that has been not done by any government. Today, anywhere you go in Telangana, any nook and corner, you will see greenery. You will see saplings, avenue plantations. You will see forest blocks being rejuvenated. But we are not going to stop at 28%. Our dream is to get to 33% to begin with, and eventually, again, continue that journey and make Telangana one of those biodiverse regions in our country. I can go on, Bharat. There are many, many things I can say. There are many, many things. I think we'll save that.
We'll open it up for questions, Andy.
I think so. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
I think my own journey, having been born in Hyderabad, raised here, but with roots in Andhra, I was quite sad when the state split, and that as Telugu people we can't be together. But I think now, over the last 7-year journey, I'm proud of the growth that Telangana has achieved, Hyderabad has achieved. I think this is an example where...
Don't forget what Andhra has achieved also. In fact, we always maintained that separation is going to benefit both states. Yes. In fact, if you look at it, the number of new ports that are coming up in Andhra, that have come up in Andhra, the number of new institutions that have come up in Andhra, it would not have happened if it was United Andhra.
Central government institutions wouldn't have come in Andhra otherwise. It would have been concentrated maybe in Hyderabad. And the other thing is about balancing urban development, urban infrastructure, ensuring that our cities become our economic growth engines, but also ensuring that rural areas, agriculture benefit, and I think that balance has been done very well here. I'd like to open it up. So in the center here are the students of Kautilya. We have some of our faculty participating in this session also. I will take some faculty questions, but most of the questions are going to be directed towards our students at Kautilya. I hope you understand that. Okay, so who all have questions, can you please raise your hands? In blue, female in the front. Please introduce yourself and then ask the question.
Please sit, please sit, please sit.
I'm Vinaya, and first of all, we need more politicians like you who actually implement policies, and we see the results of them. So you talked about how you implemented policies, but could you elaborate on any challenges you may have faced while you were implementing this policy, and how you faced those challenges?
Thank you, Vinaya. Which part of India are you from?
Maharashtra.
Maharashtra. Which part of Maharashtra?
Pune.
Oh, my place. I went to Pune University. I was at Ganesh Kent for 2 years. Good meeting you. Vinaya, great question. Because, you know, and with all due respect, Meena Saab is here. So I'll take liberties and I'll say a few things about